Sienna God, hello all. Ushta good evening and Wado. Thank you for watching. This is day 20 of reading Lone Wolf Alpha Squad Copy Over by James Rank. I'm going to try and make it through. I am having a bit of an irritable bowel flare up, and I know y'all out there know what I'm talking about. So I have not narrowed it down to what it is, but that's causing it. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Boom. Anyway, it's silly, I know. All right, here we go. I believe the DAOs are the robotic greys used by the covert government to abduct humans. Just like the reticulans use a robotic slave race, which can be possessed and taken over like a tool. The covert government is trying to do the same with the NHCUs, cloned avatars by creating a fighting slave race which is remotely controlled by individuals with the right DNA. There have also been reports of giants consuming U.S. and OPFOR soldiers in Afghanistan. These creatures were terminated after a severe firefight. Perhaps these beings are rogue NHCUs or pre-Adamites, ADAMITES, ? NHCU are normally augmented with Omega staff and units from human group divisions or core. They are placed under the control of humans to keep them wandering about without precise programming in place. And because they are so fast, they are often given wargaming templates to occupy their time, keeping them busy while not in use. Omegas are tasked with ensuring that C2 or command and control is able to keep these units connected into the hive mind. If any unit malfunctioned and went rogue, it would cause a lot of unnecessary collateral damage. Omegas were able to detect any NHCU that was about to go offline and redirect it or terminate it until a new unit could put in, I think it's a typo. A new unit could put in its place. Okay. This is probably what Omega Unit Duncan O-F-I, it's, let's see, O''Finoian, Finoian, and Miranda, aka AXE is being used for now, as they are products of DARPA and the National Security Council. Also, it should be mentioned, according to the ACIO, super soldiers made by Monarch Solutions are controlled by a super soldier queen. She is total AI, and she handles and controls the altars of Monarch super soldiers. There are multiple queens with a ratio of 1 queen per 10,000 super soldiers. Whoa. Man, it's kind of like a battalion commander or something like that, you know? In Project Seagate, SEAGATE, which super soldier Aaron McCollum talks about in his Project Camelot interviews, we find that underwater domes can contain Stargate portals. I knew there, come on, we all knew there was stuff underwater. Can contain Stargate portals, one of which sits at the bottom of the ocean in the Gulf of Aden, ADEN. The military was known to cordon off this area with warships and is trying to scare away commercial naval traffic with stories of scary Somali pirates. What? You know, that they, man, I always wondered, are there really that many pirates out there? They are very concerned about these Stargates and what could possibly come through. For the past few thousand years, the Orion group, representing the negative greys and reptilians, have sought to prevent the Pleiadians from traveling past Saturn, reaching planet Earth. They are keeping a close eye on the Gulf of Aden Seagate to ensure Pleiadian forces are unable to enter through this portal. Conventional organic soldiers are easily disabled by the sound Pleiadians make with their bodies. To counteract this, NHCU units are being deployed. They are immune to these effects due to their AI controlling influences. Look, if you have not seen Stargate and stuff, like, you've got, it's like homework. Do your homework. To maintain secrecy, anyone who eyewitnesses a NHCU while in combat is exterminated. Whoa. If the U.S. military has no qualms about terminating innocent civilians in time of war, it makes you think they will be any less restrained if martial law within the United States was announced. With no compassion and the strength of 10 men, it would mean military rule of the United States within the reach of the New World Order. Once all the kinks were worked out in the NHCUs, Secret plans were made to build gigantic deep underground cloning facilities to create these creatures. One is under the ice sheets of Antarctica, another is under Iceland. Kind of wonder if people put out those survival shows, like not just the survival, like, oh, survive on your own in the desert or whatever, but like stuff like Walking Dead and all those other types of things, to, like, I'm sure, like, instill some sort of fear in folks, but also to educate in case something were to happen, right? Here's how you can survive. Once all the kinks were worked out in the NHCU, secret plans were made to build gigantic deep underground cloning facilities to create these creatures. One is under the ice sheets of Antarctica, another is under Iceland. It's insane. According to Dr. Richard Boylan, B-O-Y-L-A-N, the U.S. National Security Council approved the construction of a huge cloning facility under, I cannot pronounce this, DJUPIDALUR, Iceland. It is 16 miles long by 1 mile wide. Though I don't consider Boylan the most credible source, his information seems to confirm what we already expect out of this insane cabal, as he calls them. This facility began construction in 1993, originally as a nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons research facility. It was only until it became fully operational in 2006 that the National Security Council realized they've been lied to. Inside what was a giant cloning factory, which contained an army of brainwashed clone starseed cyborgs, enhanced with physical, mental, and psychic abilities. In April 2007, Boylan reports that this facility was penetrated by a counterinsurgency team who killed Brigadier General Frank Dougherty, Dougherty, and a number of his security troops in the scuffle. The super soldier hybrids were liberated and safely extracted and given new lives. Non-security personnel were evacuated, and the clone factory was destroyed. I think this is tied into the White Hat's plans to recruit Lincoln Clay and a 100 million strong cloned super soldier army working for the positive to act as a counterplan in case these clone super soldiers are ever activated by the cabal. I also find the timing of this event curious, as it seems to correspond to the Heather material, which states in the late 2006, 600 units created for Operation Retaliation were terminated. Perhaps the same people who ordered Heather to terminate her subjects were also responsible for terminating the clone factory in Iceland. We may never know the truth of this mystery. And I was wondering, can you infiltrate those, like, battalion commander AI types and just, turn them for good or destroy them or something? I don't know. In 2007, I came across a report which stated that Iraq war was a bloodbath. To reduce the official death count, some 72,000 dead U.S. military personnel had been replaced with clone duplicates without the public's knowledge. When I learned of the staggering number involved originally, I didn't believe it. But my source on this info is adamant that it is indeed correct. I was hoping he would give me more information on where he got these statistics, but he instead informed me of the need for secrecy as lives could be at stake. This is what the United States Department of Defense claims as the official death count for both wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Notice the insanely low numbers of the official death count compared to the actual. War on Terror Casualties Report, Operation Iraqi Freedom, March 20th, 2003 to January 26, 2007. Confirmed U.S. soldiers dead, 3,896. U.S. soldier hostile injuries, 28,661. Operation Enduring Freedom, that's the one I was involved in. Afghanistan War, October 7th, 2001 to December 25th, 2007. U.S. soldier official death count, 746. First Gulf War, January 16, 1991 till April 6, 1991. U.S. soldier official death count, 392. This is what was leaked out from inside sources. Operation Iraqi Freedom. U.S. soldiers killed in Iraq, 50,500. U.S. soldier war injuries, 22,800. U.S. civilians killed, 5,000. U.S. soldier bodies dumped into Persian Gulf, 7,000. Iraqi soldiers killed, 81,000. Iraqi civilians killed, 1,650,000. Iraqis injured, 555,000. Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan War. U.S. soldiers killed, 12,000. U.S. soldiers war injuries, NA. Afghan soldiers killed, 35,000. Afghan civilians killed, 30,500. Afghans injuries, 67,400. First Gulf War, 143. U.S. soldiers killed in Iraq, 24,000. U.S. veterans who died since 1991, from the causes of the war, 22,000. Iraq soldiers killed, 56,000. Iraq civilians killed, 43,000. Iraq civilians killed since the war. It has no number there. January 1991 till March 2000. I guess that goes with it, but it's just bumped down. 405,000. Clones used to replace killed U.S. soldiers not reported in all three wars. 72,000. That's insane. Dr. Michael Wolff. These projects are what Colonel/Dr. Michael Wolff, in parentheses, Cruvant, Kruvant, of the NSC's Special Studies Group warned about. He stated that research in human cloning was being perverted by the cabal, in parentheses, military, to create the super hybrid soldier who would, under mental programming, mindlessly follow immoral orders. Dr. Wolff was a director of MJ-12's SSG AlphaCom at Area 51. It was founded by Eisenhower in 1954 to reestablish relations with EBs, EBES, and this, in parentheses, it says extraterrestrial biological entities, commonly known as aliens, with whom the American military had been in trouble with due to destroying ET spacecraft in order to steal their technology. AlphaCom was responsible for collecting all information about the different EB species present on Earth and in the universe, and tasked with backward engineering exotic technologies recovered from the Roswell incident in 1947. Roswell incident is in quotes. As a member of MJ-12, Wolff had contact with the Nordics, who he said works with an organization known as the Alliance, and they work with another humanoid EB group known as the Federation of Worlds, in parentheses FOW, or the Federation of the Andromedans, ANDROMEDEANS. MJ-12 also works with a larger collective known as the Corporate. These include a reptilian EB species which calls themselves the Grey, and they have pledged allegiance to a conglomerate called the Unified Races of the Orion, in parentheses URO, also known as the Draconian Empire. At Area 51 and 52, Area 52, Wolff would have access to a secure classified library on many topics, including particle physics, telemetry, and schematics on crashed vessels. Whew, I'm ready for my time to be up, I'm gonna tell you. Basically, everything you would need to know to build a spaceship. Dr. Wolff was one of the 32 members of the Jason Group, which was named after its designated prototype. For example, the Jason Group worked on spaceships, while Sam Group worked on living non-terrestrial beings, and the Jessica Group worked on laser technology. He would have worked underground for long periods of time without being able to see sunlight or even having the clearance to leave the base. He felt depressed quite often, and many of his coworkers would commit suicide. Dr. Wolff says that the Area 51 complex is the size of Rhode Island and contains about 100,000 staff members. The base is many levels deep into the earth, with each level requiring higher and higher clearance levels, with the deepest level restricted to only hybrids and extraterrestrials. Area 51 also connects to other facilities in an underground shuttle system that travels at speeds of 1,000 miles per hour to 3,000 miles per hour. The facility also has jump rooms and portal tech, which Wolff learned about at the mess hall. Dr. Wolff did not have access to portal technology and says that the portal tech is very dangerous to your aura and body because the portal modifies your own quantum field into the portal's vibration. As you approach the portal, the hair on your body begins to stick up. When you pass through the portal, your body enters into the state of quantum flux, which then requires a med bed to fix. Dr. Wolff commented that Area 51 is run by people who are not quite right. I bet they're not quite right. They may look like normal humans, but their consciousness is either extraterrestrial or not human. The facility was founded by a group, I'm so close to being done, a pay-per-click Nazi scientists, some of which are 120 to 140 years old now. Yeah, because they're using all that technology to keep themselves young and youthful. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Done it. Go hang. You in a good shot. I'll skip to a weekend. Love you, mean it.